I've made a video about each one of these bikes, but it occurred to me the other day that they haven't all been in a video together, so here we go. I thought we'd go through them all. So this is my Polygon Siskiu T7. It's got 27.5 inch wheels, it's an aluminium frame, it's got 160mm travel at the front and 140 on the back. It originally had 150 at the front, but I changed the fork to 160. This is the bike I took to Bike Park Wales last time I went, and it was great fun. Stay tuned for part 2 of that video, coming out soon. Part 1 of the video is me actually getting the bike and unboxing it before taking it to Bike Park Wales. So I haven't actually made any upgrades to this bike, other than that bottle cage. I can't remember what make the bottle cage is, but it's pretty fancy. It's a £15 one, so it's not like your normal £2 one. I put in this Bergtech spacer as well, which is red, because the plan was to call it the Refresher, the bike, because of the colour, like the Refresher Sweets, but I'm not really sure if I like that name very much. I don't know, I might rename it to something else. My favourite thing about this bike is the fact it can do anything, like anything full suspension wise. I'm taking it to the woods, like my local woods, just riding it around there, it's really good at. Taking it to Bike Park Wales, it's really good at. So it's not like massive travel, but it's enough travel, it's good at everything I want to do on it. This has got the Shimano Dior 12-speed chain set, which is really nice. I really like that about it. It's also got these really massive 2.6 tyres as well, which I really like. They're Schwalbe Hans Dampf tyres, I think they both are. What else do I like? Everything! This is my favourite bike, and my plans for this bike are obviously to keep it. I've only had it for like less than a year. I love it, it's good at everything. The only thing I don't like about it is the brake levers, because they're just too long, and on my hardtail I've got much shorter levers and I can do one finger braking, but with this I just can't. I've put them really far in, and no matter how far I put them in and how low I put the levers, I just can't do one finger braking on it. I end up putting 2 fingers on it, and that means I can't grip the handlebar so well, so I end up really like hurting my wrists. So new levers would be good, but I actually like the calipers, the Tektro brakes. Yeah. So this is my Voodoo Hoodoo, 27.5 inch wheels, aluminium frame. This one's from Halfords. It got me back into mountain biking. This bike's been everywhere. It's a real workhorse. It's been pretty beaten up, I'd say. Everything's getting a bit worn. Actually no, everything's not getting worn, because anything that is worn ends up getting replaced. I've upgraded loads on this. New bars, new grips, new front wheel, forks, new headset because of the new forks, new saddle, 2 new dropper posts because I can't get the right height dropper post. I can't work out what height I need. New pedals, new chainring, new cranks. Did I say new front caliper because the old one broke? New rear disc because the old one bent. Oh yeah, I did the bottom bracket as well because I had to for the new crank. I like it because it's just like a cheap Halfords bike, and I've upgraded it so much now. It's actually like, well, it was good before, but now it just feels like, you know, like a hot rod car when you have like a beaten up old car and they put loads of cool bits on it. I feel like that's what I've done with that. The things I don't like about it is I feel like the top tube's a bit too long, really. It's a bit, I'm not 100% on this yet, but it feels a little bit hard to manoeuvre. Yeah, with this bike, I'm not 100% sure what to do on it, because I like all the components on it. I like the bike, but I would really like a steel hardtail bike. I think that'd be so cool. I've never tried one, but they just look so cool, and they're meant to be really good for hardtails because the frame bends a little bit whilst you're riding, so it's like quite comfortable. See that action there, like I'm riding a horse. I probably wouldn't sell it because I probably wouldn't get that much for it, and I've spent quite a lot on it, so. But I do really like it. I would like to keep it, so even if I end up just keeping the frame, I'm going to end up keeping it. But it's so cool now. It's all upgraded. I love riding it. Good for anything. It's good for popping down to the shops. Good for going around in the woods. Probably wouldn't take it to Bike Park Wales again. That was hard going. This is my Trek Alpha 1.1. This is also an aluminium bike. There's a bit of a theme going on there. I've done quite a few upgrades to this. In fact, I made a video about it. All the old components were pretty worn out, but I took the opportunity to sort of buy components that made it better suited to what I wanted to do on it. I don't ride it that often, so I got a bigger range of gears. What have I done to this? I've put on new brakes, new shifters, new bar tape, 2 sets of new tyres, new cranks, new chain rings, new bottom bracket, new cassette, new rear derailleur, new front derailleur, new saddle, new pedals, but they're pretty worn out now. I think that's everything. Yeah, and I really loved it before, and now I really love it even more. Yeah, I like it so much because it's really light and nimble. I don't ride road bikes that often, so this is just, you know, I don't really want anything more from a road bike, and this is perfect for me. It would be quite cool if it had disc brakes, but these stop it, so it doesn't really make that much of a difference. I want to keep it because I don't know what else I'd get. I'm not really interested in getting a carbon road bike. I like aluminium. I don't want to spend that much money on a carbon road bike either. This is just perfect. So this is my Dawes Easy Straight. This bike started life as a hybrid bike and I turned it into a gravel bike. The reason I chose this bike to turn it into a gravel bike is because it's actually the same geometry as a touring bike that Dawes made of the same year. The only difference was it had cantilever brakes instead of caliper brakes, so you could put a bigger wheel in it. So I thought, perfect for a gravel bike. Before hybrid bikes really became their own thing, manufacturers used to just take a touring bike or a road bike and change the brake mounts and put flat bars on them. So there we go. I've done loads to this bike, obviously, to make it into a gravel bike. I put drop handlebars on it. These are GT drop tune handlebars, whatever they are. An Eastern stem on it. Put new bar tape on it. I put new shifters on it. Shifters / brake levers. Put these Pan Racer tyres on it, which are probably a bit wide, to be honest with you. I've got these, what are these? RJ Project Mac 1 wheels, don't know what they are either. I put the cranks and the chainring and the pedals off my Voodoo Hoodoo on this bike, and that uses a square taper bottom bracket, which I absolutely hate square taper bottom brackets because as soon as they get wet they seem to seize up or get a bit weird. It's got a new rear derailleur and it's got a new cassette on it, and it's got this saddle on it which I absolutely hate because I just slide off the back of it. As you can probably tell, I talk about this bike quite negatively, and that's because I don't ride it much anymore. When I first did it, I was riding it all the time, but because I try to make it useful for doing a lot of jobs, it's not actually that good at doing anything, if that makes sense. So if I want to cycle a bike a short distance, I just use the Voodoo Hoodoo. I was thinking about potentially getting rid of it, but Hannah, my girlfriend, said I shouldn't because it looks cool, and also I like it because it was like my first biggish video on YouTube, which is quite cool as well. So I might make another video out of it yet. I'm thinking maybe I put flat bars back on it just so I end up using it more, because I haven't got enough space to have a bike that I don't use in the shed. Haven't got much space. So there's just a few things I don't like about it, like the saddle I hate because I just keep sliding off the back, like I said. I know a lot of the time sliding off the back of the saddle means that your top tube's too long, but literally this is just like on an ice rink. It's so slidey. It's one of those charged saddles. I don't think they exist anymore. I quite like this bike because at the time I thought I was splashing out on this. I was like spending loads of money on parts, but realistically I was just buying anything I could get my hands on. Like these wheels are off Facebook Marketplace. I literally have no idea what brand they are. I never heard of them in my life, and like the bottom bracket was off my Voodoo Hoodoo, and it's not great, it's alright, and it's got like a 9-speed cassette at the back, which you don't really get 1x9 speed bikes, but seems to do the job. Oh, this has got 501 Reynolds tubing, which is quite cool as well. Everyone loves Reynolds tubing, which is quite desirable. I did a lot of research to make sure I got the right frame for this. So yeah, I feel like this bike has one more incarnation in it, making it into another type of bike potentially, just so I ride it more because it's such a cool bike. I would like to do a trip on it as well, some sort of trip. I'd like to do a trip on my road bike as well. One last bike. So this is the last bike, and this one is the bike that keeps me up at night at the minute. This project's been going on for over a year. I can't make up my mind what I'm going to do with it. This was going to be Hannah's bike. The problem is, like, the bike that I bought was a complete bike. The only thing I could really use was the frame. The frame's just not a very good frame. Realistically, Hannah's not going to use it that often, so it's just going to be taking up room in the shed, and I would like a bike that we could both ride. I don't even think Hannah's going to like this bike. It's not even a good frame, so the only thing I've got is a frame. That's not very good. I've already spent money on some components for it. I've already spent money on the paint for it. I'm a little bit lost with it. At the minute I'm thinking I'll probably just put some parts on it and try and sell it. But that's an upcoming video as well. That's been going on for like 2 years. So I'm probably going to have about 1 trillion haircuts in it and look completely different. So if you have any thoughts on what you would do with it, then please comment below. Not that you know what the bike even looks like, but it's a steel bike, so it weighs a ton, so completely useless. Realistically, we could both share that last bike I showed you. Hannah quite likes that bike already. She's already tried that, so I spent so much time on it. I've grit blasted it. You can see the old colour there. I've grit blasted it, I've sprayed it, I've got parts for it. Yeah, so stay tuned for that one. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'd like to know which one of these bikes is your favourite. Mine is the Polygon Siskiu, followed by the Trek. Also, tell me which sort of bike you think I'm missing out on. I'm feeling flat bar rigid bike at the minute, or maybe steel gravel bike I'm also missing out on. Oh, that's what that's meant to be, but it's not very good at it. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. Please give me a thumbs up. Yeah, give your thumbs up to your screen. Cheers, Jack. And please subscribe.